Hello and welcome to Bookstation. So today, following on from a video that I did a few videos ago about um, books that I have read that I don't think many other people have read or that I haven't heard much about, I thought I would start a new thing on my channel called LJ Recommends, as my name is Lee Johnson, so that was obviously a witty and clever title to call it. But anyway, yeah. So this is LJ Recommends, and what I will be doing is every so often, it's not going to be a regular thing, but every so often I'm going to talk about a book or some books that I believe deserve more attention. I'm not pushing my views on anyone with these videos. I'm clearly letting you know about books that I think are amazing and that I think everybody should check out. That's it. So a little disclaimer there. And I thought what I would do is, because this is the first LJ Recommends, I would recommend two books. So yes. So the first book I am going to be talking about and recommending today is Heaven by Christoph Marzi. And this book I picked up after my friend James Aggie. His channel is N Reluctant on YouTube. He does mainly like vlogging things, but he's done a couple of book hauls, and he talked about this book. And after seeing him talking about it, I had it on my shelves, and I thought to myself, I really want to read it now. And I read it, and it's like 400 and something pages, and I read this in like 2 days, which for me is incredible. And this book tells the story of a girl called Heaven, um, and a guy called David. Now, David works at a bookshop in Paris, I believe. Nope, sorry. Okay, he works in a bookshop in London, and to get to the addresses quickly, because he delivers books, like really valuable, expensive books to rich clients. So to get to their houses quickly, he um, takes rooftops, like he jumps over rooftops and stuff. And one night he finds this girl on a rooftop, and she looks like she's dead. And he goes over to talk to her, and she says her name is Heaven, and that her heart has been taken by angry bad men. And so basically, this whole book is um, David and Heaven trying to figure out why her heart has been taken in the first instance, and also why she's still alive. Um, Now, what this book does really well is it kind of splits up chapters. So you'll have chapters where Heaven is talking, and you'll have a few, not so many, chapters where David is talking, and then you'll also have a few chapters, which in this book are called interludes, from the actual bad guys that Heaven is trying to stay away from, the guys that took her heart. And you can really tell with this book how clever the writing is, because Christoph Marzi, when he's writing from Heaven or David's perspective, he's kind of like writing like as you would read a normal book. That's how the writing is. But then when he's writing from the bad men's perspective, the interludes, is like the writing is really dark and creepy, and it actually freaked me out a few times. Because there's one scene where there's this guy, one of these bad men who are in this really rich guy's house that David has been to, and he's like leaving a message on somebody's phone. David overhears him, and it's a really, really, really creepy message, and it actually freaked me out. Um, and the other reason I thought I'd mention this book is because it is also translated from German, and I have had a pretty bad track record with translated books. Not because the books aren't good, but because I don't know. I just there's something different about them. Like, yeah, maybe they were good in their own language, but when they're translated to English, maybe something didn't quite go right. But I just haven't had a very good track record with translated books. So that's one reason I wanted to mention this, is because the translation is fantastic, and you could tell that Christoph is such a good writer, because it translates to English perfectly. It is an amazing book. Yes. So that is the first book I'm recommended, Heaven by Christophe Marzi, and I suggest you all go and check it out because it is fabulous. And it's just a really powerful, gripping story. It's so action-packed, and like I said, it's a bit big, but I got through it in 2 days, and I'm a slow reader. So I think anybody can get through this really quickly. And plus the cover is absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can see, but when you move it, there's little sparkly bits. But anyway, moving on. This book is amazing. And the other book I wanted to recommend to you is one that I don't think a lot of people have read. Again, I mean, that's the whole point of this. But I'm going to be talking to you about The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton. Now, you'll know Tim Burton as a fantastic movie director who's worked with a lot with Johnny Depp and his wife Helena Bonham Carter. Um, he is my favourite movie director of all time. And I didn't know he was also an artist and a poet. So this is a collection of his most famous poetry and artworks, and the artworks accompany the poetry. He kind of works the illustrations and the poetry around each other. So, for instance, there is a poem called Voodoo Girl, and there's his illustration of Voodoo Girl, and it's just this. The illustrations and the poetry in this book are so dark and twisted. You know, they like reflect Tim Burton's personality and his movie direction skills perfectly. Movie direction style, sorry. I mean, the illustrations are absolutely amazing, and the poetry is also very good. But I love this mainly for the art, even though I adore poetry. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much more I could say about this book. It's just absolutely fantastic. And if you're a fan of Tim Burton's work, i.e. the movies and stuff like that, you really need to check out this book because it is absolutely beautiful. And Tim Burton also creates sculptures, like all these characters in this book that he's based these poems around. You can actually, he's made sculptures of them as well, and they are also amazing and incredible. So yeah, I really recommend this. And this is only like about 100 pages, and I got through it in about an hour because the poetry is sublime. Like the creativeness and the storytelling is on point. It's absolutely amazing. Reading these poems one after the other, which is what I did. I read them one after the other. I didn't like read one, put it down, come back half an hour later. I read them all one after the other. And reading them like that, it kind of all the stories tie in together, and it kind of creates this kind of, I don't know, this kind of rhyming Tim Burton movie playing out in your head as you're reading the poems, and it's just absolutely fantastic. And I really want to check out some more Tim Burton. There is a book, like a big massive table there, a big massive coffee table book of all of his sculptures and artworks and poetry, but it's about £55 on Amazon. But I really, really want it. I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and pick it up. Yeah, so I really recommend this. Okay, so that was my first LJ recommends. Please let me know if you've heard about any of these books, if you have in fact read any of them, and what you thought about them. And please let me know your thoughts on any books that you think are underrated or not very well known that you think I would like or I could check out. And you never know, they may become some of my favourites. So yeah, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you wish. And I will see you again very soon. Thank you.